Turn up to this one, customer isn't really getting much hot water out the tap. It's a tank fed system. The water runs like that downstairs for a little bit and then eventually just stops. And that's pretty much your lot. Tap is fully open as well. Then I go upstairs and try the other taps. And that's pretty much doing the same thing as well. So this is proving we've got an issue at all the hot taps. Just to prove it, let's do the bath tap as well. It's even worse. So this is ruled out it being a tap washer, purely for the fact that every tap is the same. So let's head over to the cylinder and have a look. Yeah, probably older than me, look at that. I bet that's all old pipe as well, so 3/4 and 1 inch. I'll show you a little trick now where we're going to change the cylinder, but we're not actually going to drain the tank down. Venture up into the loft, find the domestic header tank, get our bung out, find the cold feed to the cylinder and pop the bung in. This means we're going to save all of that water without having to wait for it to drain down. So you're saving time and water. You're welcome. Then I'm going to head back down to the cylinder, get the hot draw off, cracked open, make it look like you've never used grips before. Undo the nut and move it out of the way, then pull the pipework apart, or hit it with some grips, whatever. Then grab your pipe slice and cut the pipe. Then remove that and maybe save it for later. But as you can see, no water coming out at all. Now I'm going to cut the hot draw off at the top. That'll disconnect it completely for the cylinder. Then I'm going to thread my hose down into the cylinder, go into the bathroom and use an Aquavac to suck it out. This will create a siphon, which will drain the tank down without having to find the dodgy little drainer. Keep your hand over it to keep it going. Eventually it'll start a siphon and then pull the Aquavac off, like that. You're welcome, again. So now I'm going to cut the cold feed, get rid of all those brass stop taps. They're a little bit unnecessary anyway. Swap it with a nice new lever valve, then I can go back up into the loft and remove that bung. Then go back down to the lever valve, put a bucket underneath and open it up just to check that that's not blocked from the tank to the lever valve basically. Full bore, we can see that's fine. So we know that wasn't causing us an issue. And then we're good to go up to the lever, so we'll pipe back up to that now. Don't forget our safe isolation, make sure everything's turned off before we touch the immersion. Get the little nut taken off and then pull that out. Oh dear. Here's a quick version of safe isolation. Just put the probes from earth to live, earth to neutral, neutral to live. Don't follow this at home, although it's safer than a volt pen. Safer than not doing anything as well. Just put that, see how blocked that is? The water's not even flowing through that. Going through those brass stop taps, the waterways would be really, really small. Wouldn't take a lot to block it up. Right, now to make the new cylinder up. So we've got male irons that we need to PTFE. PTFE's old school, but I like it. And I put 20 wraps on. I know the plumbing police will have a better way, but this is my way. That's nice and easy for the top one, but this is where it gets a little bit more tricky. We've got female irons going on to male irons. But the male irons are on the cylinder, and as you can see, you can't get the PTFE tape in. So here's a little trick that I learnt when I was an apprentice. If we wrap the PTFE onto a pen or a screwdriver or something small enough that will fit in the hole, you can't just do 20 wraps because obviously the pen's smaller than the thread, so you probably want to do about 60. And then we're literally going to pop that on the male iron, just like that, and then you can wrap it round. So that's a way to put on PTFE in awkward little spaces like that. Not that I'm counting, but I think that's the third top tip in this video. You're welcome. Gonna speed this last bit up. That's annoying having that little dangly bit, but it'll be alright. Then you make the female on like that, tighten it up as much as you can, and then you're going to want to get a bit of pipe, make the pipe up with some JetBlue on the olive, and then just tighten it up like that. That's another way to make the cylinder up. And then give everything a little pinch up, because you don't want the cylinder leaking. Now I'm going to head up into the loft and I'm going to bung the central heating header tank. It's an old back boiler system, so the less we can do with that, the better. So bung the cold feed, cap end on the expansion, and then we're just going to wait for that to stop. There's the lime scale when I took the cylinder out. Shocking. I had to carry it downstairs because it kept blocking up. Snap the cold feed off at the bottom. Look at the state of that. Anyway, back to making this up. Immersion heater comes with a fibre washer, plenty of JetBlue on that. Going to pop that in there. You always want to start the immersion off hand tight first. Can be a bit tricky to get the threads to line up. That's it, just wind it in till it won't go anymore. These are my favourite type of immersion heater spanners. I think it's from Monument. You can get plenty of leverage on this. And then now a quick video of how I make the cylinder up for the cold feed. Pop the pipe in and then tighten it with a spanner again. Cut the pipe down as short as I can, enough to get a T on, because then I'm going to put a T with a drain off in. Then I'm going to get that soldered up. Try not to set fire to the cylinder. Keep the flame the opposite side to where you're dabbing the solder. Try not to set the smoke alarm off. Right, we're going to clear that cylinder space out now. The heating system's still bunged. There's my 28 pipe slice, better not lose that. Just about all ready for the new cylinder to go in. Attach the cold feed first, then the flow and the return, and then I started filling like that. And then while that's filling, I'll have a go at the hot on the top. There you go. That's all piped up. Now we're going to head to the tap and just check. So far so good. Wow, hot water from both taps. This customer hasn't had that for months. They've just been making do. Now to head downstairs and check the kitchen tap. Look at the flow rate on that. Right, so with all that done, I couldn't connect the immersion back up. It needed a new cable, so we've isolated that. Close the door on all that. Check the taps again before we go. Make sure you show the customer like they've never seen a tap before. Now check the bath tap. Make sure you act like you've never seen a tap before. And that's another one done. Happy days.